Bickley and Marotta. Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The Suns have many issues, but they have one fatal flaw. It appears that we care more than they do. Now, I'm not saying the Suns don't care. They just don't care enough. They will tell you they're playing hard, and they do sometimes, but not hard enough. They run up and down the court, but most of the time, they're not running fast enough. Now, their head coach says, on whole, this is a good group. He says he admires their fight, and yet too often, they get punked by showboating, taunting, preening opponents. Now, the team doesn't seem disconnected or dysfunctional. They seem to like one another, yet as a group, they're wholly unlikable. And even worse, there are moments when they prove every word I'm saying, like that road beatdown against the Warriors or the incredible comebacks against the Clippers and the Nuggets. There are moments and there are quarters when they do care enough, but those moments, like their defense, are never sustained. They come and go and disappear like dust in the wind. Yet at some point, the anger will turn to apathy in the Valley, a time when we will no longer care more than our favorite basketball team, and that's the moment when the Suns are in real trouble.
It's not like the Suns were caught, off guard by what the Houston Rockets were going to present to them last night. You know what their calling card is, and unfortunately, we know what the Suns' calling card is too.
Yeah,
is they're going to be dictated to every single night by whoever's playing them. Whether or not those teams are better than them, because again, you got to go way back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the Clippers game I'll throw in there. The Clippers game was an incredible comeback and a game where the Suns, I think, beat a team that's better than them in the current.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go way back to find another game that fits that criteria. Because you could say Golden State. Golden State was not a better team than the Suns on January 31st.
Not at that point in
They
time.
are now.
Yeah. No, I know. Lapped the Suns.
And now, the lack of belief is pretty evident. We hear it from the fans. And we're going to probably hear some more of it very soon on this show when we open up the phone lines coming up next. But what is the belief level of the team now? And to me, and maybe I'm reading into this too much, I thought Kevin Durant's demeanor after the game was a little different. The words weren't different. But he did not have the same KD post-game energy where it was, about basketball.
Right.
His body language was different. The tone of his voice was different.
Yes.
He looked, to me, in the video that I saw that Dwayne Rankin posted, he looked defeated for the first time all year.
He kind of did. Yeah. And it was kind of telling when they asked him, what did you think of the play with Mason Plumlee and Steven Adams?
And he said this.
My opinion on that does not matter. How much do you think that impacted the game itself? None at all. Because it was a three-point game at that point, and you guys were already down a big in the first place. I don't believe it made any impact on the game at all.
Yeah, my opinion on that does not matter.
That answer just struck me as odd.
Yeah, that's not a normal KD stance on anything, really.
Especially when it's a player on the Suns finally showing some physical fight in a basketball game, right? So I agree with you. And so it kind of, it's just another one of those games that kind of just makes you wonder, what are we doing here? What are they chasing? Are they chasing? And the absurdity of it is, when you take a look at the schedule that they have got in front of them, they've got the Kings at home on Friday. Kings are ahead of them. Kings aren't a real good team, right?
They're ahead of the Suns.
Well, that is true. They got the Lakers on Sunday. LeBron is probably not playing in that game. They've got the Raptors on Monday. That's the second of a back-to-back. They probably can beat the Raptors. They've got the Bulls on Wednesday. They can beat the Bulls. But then they got the Cavaliers, the Bucks, the Celtics, the Timberwolves, the Rockets, the Bucks, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Warriors, the Thunder.
There's 3, maybe 4 games remaining in which the Suns will be favored.
Yeah.
Maybe Sacramento.
Right.
Toronto, Chicago, San Antonio.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You got to go. It's so stupid to even say, what they have to do, because how could you even believe that they could do anything?
No,
but they need if they go 4-1 in that 5-game stretch you just said, just because Dallas is struggling so much, they could probably survive that gauntlet at the end of the year. But they have to make up ground at some point.
No, it's basically 3 teams limping toward the finish line, and the team with the head start might end up winning just because of that.
Yeah. So again, I'm not sure where this whole thing is leading. I'm not sure what kind of wholesale changes we're going to get. I don't know what it's going to look like going forward. Nobody wants to go through an extensive rebuild, but you also have to wonder what Matt Ishbia is going to do about his front office. As Vinny and I discussed, there was a report on CBS Sports in mid to late February where Sam Quinn ranked the Suns front office 28 out of 30th among all NBA teams. Only the Sacramento Kings and the Bulls were below them, and they followed with the following, quote, "No organization in the NBA operates with less foresight than the Suns. That's true in a macro sense. Obviously, ESPN's Kevin Arnovitz wrote a lengthy feature about how little stock general manager James Jones puts into the draft, but it's evident on a micro level as well. They are the impulse shoppers of the NBA. They went after Bradley Beal as a pure talent play, but didn't stop to think that maybe uniting 3 players on max contracts that do not generate consistent rim pressure might yield diminishing offensive returns and hamstring their ability to field a decent defense," end quote. So the hits are just going to keep coming for this basketball team if there's not a dramatic reversal of fortune.
Yeah, but here's something else to consider. Well, 2 things to consider. There's change. We all believe there's change coming in the offseason because this is not acceptable on any level.
Right.
But how much, if there is change on the horizon, how widespread is it? Does it bleed into the front office? Does Matt Ishbia look in a different direction to empower people for basketball decisions that he's not making himself? That remains to be seen. But the other option that we haven't talked about yet is, we talk about what we know about billionaires' behavior. They're very competitive, very aggressive. They're also very stubborn.
Very much so. Very much so. Because
is the stubborn option on the table?
I think,
hey,
yeah.
We're not making any change. We're running this back.
Oh. You mean,
I think
yes.
You think that's on the table?
I think
with KD?
Yes.
I think KD himself will sort of not make that possible.
That if they want to do that, KD would ask out?
Yeah. I think because of what happened at the deadline, I think that sort of has run its path. I don't know.
I tend to agree with you, Jared. I don't see any way. That would be gaslighting it at the ultimate level. That this is going to work. So just believe us. We'll get the right role players this time.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't talked about that as an option. I don't think it's very probable either.
Yeah.
But wanted to throw it out there.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised, though. I don't think it's going to happen, but if James Jones and Ishbia come out after the season saying, like, we want to run this back, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be surprised.
I would be stunned.
Because
they
would be
they
tone
already
deaf
knew
as well.
It would be totally tone deaf.
At this trade deadline, they were already acknowledging that something had to be done.
Yeah.
They
That
shopped
this is the
Beal
wrong
and
mix.
Durant.
They know they have to get off this roster. They know they have to.
You know what I would say? We work in the possibilities business. Open up now I've planted the seed. That's all anybody's going to think about.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.